Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned.
Ridiculous.
Here's Brandon and Jeff.
Hello, and welcome to episode 65 of The Film Blurs. I'm your host, Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. Uncle Jeffrey, a.k.a. J. Otis Dynamite, a.k.a. Revengeman Button, a.k.a. Petty Ruxpin, a.k.a. Jobu Tupaki, a.k.a. He Who Remains, a.k.a. the Black Gino Ivana Ribisi. And I am joined here, as always, with my co-host and very, very, very good friend.
Hi, I'm Brandon Norwood, a.k.a. Hero Protagonist, a.k.a. the true father of Joe's kids and Kanye's kids, a.k.a. Poppy Chulo, a.k.a. the Glizzy King, a.k.a. Mr. Krusty, a.k.a. the Lethal Protector, a.k.a. my biggest pet peeve is sports because I don't like seeing grown men sweat on each other, a.k.a. I want a Subaru Outback with mad strippers in the back giving shape-ups, a.k.a. Rough McGruff, a.k.a. oh my God, these nuts won the Powerball, a.k.a. D-Wood, the Magnificent.
Man, if I had won the Powerball, dude, it'd just be... I'd just send you a text and it's like, just pack your bags, son. Just pack your bags. I'm faking everybody's death. Everybody I know, I'm faking their death. And we're just going to live on an island and do all sorts of mad drugs, watch movies, and fucking just...
Oh yeah. Like, if you won that Powerball, you have to go hide.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like, that's the thing. Yeah, like, it sucks not having money, and it sucks having money because, like, when you don't have it, you're just in an avalanche of shit. And then when you do have it, everybody's out for their piece of the pie.
Right. Like when you don't have money, you're always looking for it. When you do have money, everyone's looking for you. You know, that's the truth. But I would rather have that problem.
True.
I would rather have that. So what's going on in the world, man?
So, guys, again, please review us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. Subscribe to whatever platform you have. You know, write us good reviews so the algorithm can push the show up. And again, like us on Instagram and TikTok. I would say Twitter, but Twitter is kind of imploding right now. Shout out to Elon Musk, bro. You destroyed that shit in less than a month. All it took was 2 weeks. God damn.
Right. I had forgotten that you could now pay for your fucking badges, right? So I'm looking at all these motherfuckers like, nigga, I know you're not verified. Like, what's going on?
And they have to, it's so bad they have to put an official badge on like CNN and like notable people now. And I'm just like, why the fuck would anybody? Yo, listen, I get clout chasing because clout chasing, sometimes it gets you jobs. I've gotten jobs from clout chasing, but like at a certain point, I'm like, nigga, that's a waste of $8 just to have the little check mark. Like that's $8 that could go to something else.
Right. I mean, like, honestly, I only use Twitter to complain to corporations to get free shit and for pornography.
No, I've gotten jobs off of Twitter. You know what I mean? I've rubbed elbows with famous people because of Twitter. So Twitter has helped me out a lot. Like, but I mean, also that shit is now
Instagram's my bag.
It's in the toilet now, and all it took was for one fucking South African colonizer who now makes everywhere I go I see a fucking Tesla, and I'm just like, god damn, like, yo, whatever, you know what, whatever, just don't let this motherfucker buy anything else. That's all I gotta say. Don't let him buy anything else.
I rode in a Tesla a couple of weeks ago. It is nice. It is nice.
Yeah, but is it worth all the money?
I mean, if I don't actually have to drive myself, it's kind of worth the money.
All right, so let me say this. There's a famous celebrity who paid mad money for a customized Tesla. The shit broke down. Called Tesla. Is like, yo, this shit ain't working. Can you come to my house and fix it? And they're like, oh, the earliest we can be there is like 2 weeks to a month. And this person was like, because I don't want to name who it was. This person was like, the fuck you are? I paid this much plus the electric charge and all this shit. The fuck you are? You know who I am? They're like, yeah, I can see your name right now. I know who I'm talking to right now. But them the breaks. I was just like, yeah. That's why when I get rich, I'm gonna get a Lincoln. Nobody has a Lincoln. Them shits is nice.
Yeah, Lincolns are nice, and you like fucking that McConaughey clout, man.
Oh, I don't give a fuck about that.
I think once you buy a Lincoln, Matthew McConaughey actually drops it off at your house.
I don't give a fuck about that.
And you do cowboy shit together.
But yeah, subscribe to all of our socials. Film Blurs on Instagram and TikTok. I would say, like you just said, Twitter's imploding, and I would say Facebook, but I mean, I haven't updated the Facebook in years, and Facebook is kind of just there now. Like it's like your wife who hates you. She just lays there. She's like, yeah, whatever.
Just get it over with.
You know what I'm saying? No, she just wants you to get off of her so she could roll over and go to sleep, or roll over and read her favorite book.
Right. So there you go, Facebook. That's an advertisement for you. That's a free advertisement for you, Facebook. There you go.
All right. So the first bit of news, Spielberg, we got some more traction on his Bullet movie that we talked about back in the summer. Bullet is going to be played by Bradley Cooper, and Bradley Cooper is also a producer on this. And then come to find out, him and Spielberg have been working on this movie for 2 years.
Yeah, I'm fucking excited about this because, you know, the original Bullet is a seminal Steve McQueen movie. I mean, it's like what made cool. It launched 1 million cars. You know, everyone wanted that Bullet. And also, like, I want to see Spielberg do like a detective. Like, I want to see him do an action movie, not an action movie.
No, but like an action detective movie, because that's what Bullet is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never read the books because I think it's based off a book, but I've seen that movie like 1 million times. And like, you know, Steve McQueen's just a cool motherfucker. Like, look, I'm glad it's Bradley Cooper because we could give a little more to Bullet besides just being a cool motherfucker and completely reinvent the character. And hopefully this is successful enough where this could be Spielberg's new franchise.
Yeah, and knowing Spielberg, like how he likes to just put his whole entire fucking dick in something, he may be working on, like, if he does do a franchise, he may be doing these back to back. We don't know. You know, like there might be a plan for it. We don't even like if he's been working on it for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got some plan for us.
I appreciate Bradley Cooper because after, you know, he's a great director now. Like Stars Born was fantastic. He just finished up his next directorial debut, and the last thing he was in was Nightmare Alley, which that was Guillermo's baby, but he also worked, once he was hired for the lead role, he also worked with Guillermo to, you know, really dive deep into the character. And he really cared. Like him and Guillermo, before shooting, they said they met for like 3 months almost every day. So this motherfucker, he's one of the few people who cares about the craft of acting and actually cares about each project he works on. And he gives it like 120%. And not for nothing, Nightmare Alley was his best role ever because he really, really, really put his heart and soul into that role.
Right. People forget that Bradley Cooper is an actual actor. I know he's pretty as a motherfucker. And people
like to make fun of him and shit like that, which I don't get, but sure.
Right. But like, I mean, he is a good actor. Like I put him on that Colin Farrell level where like he's a pretty motherfucker, but he actually appreciates, like he wants to be an actor.
Right.
Right. Like there are stars and there are actors, and Bradley Cooper wants to be an actor, and to team up with Spielberg. Yeah, baby, let's do this.
So
tickets already sold.
Yeah. Look, I hope this gets made very soon. I'm glad Spielberg's making another movie, especially in today's climate, which we'll talk about maybe this episode or next week's episode when we have a little more time. But like, honestly, I'm very scared about movies right now just because of what has happened and how basically one franchise has pretty much ruined cinema itself. So we'll get into it later. And the next and final piece of news announced yesterday, Radio Silence, with the guys who did the
last Scream movie.
The last
Scream movie, right?
Yeah, and they're doing the new Scream movie, which is coming out in March. I can't believe that fucking shit is finished already. They're doing Escape from New York.
Boo. Look, I like the guys from Radio Silence. Like when they're good, right?
Because Ready or Not was good,
but that last Scream movie was a fucking flaming turd. And you go back and listen to that episode. That we did a couple of months ago. The last Scream movie was fucking like it's a gritty reboot of Ghost Dad. It was dumb and needless.
I mean, more than them doing it, my thing is I've seen Escape from New York a lot. And I most recently watched it during lockdown with my brother because my brother had never seen it.
Really?
And
okay.
that is as close as besides some minor things where I'm just like, yo, I fucking hate the 80s sometimes. But besides some minor things in there, it's damn near close to a perfect movie. Like there's no fat on that motherfucker and it just works. It doesn't need to be remade. I know they tried back in their late 90s, early 2000s to remake it with Robert Rodriguez. And honestly, I'd rather see that.
Right.
Because Robert Rodriguez at least has talent and he's made shit I actually love.
And he would make it interesting,
Yeah. And I'm just not, honestly, it just let it be. Honestly, if you guys want to like dig up Snake Plissken, let fucking Carpenter and Kurt Russell make one more. I'd love to see old ass Snake Plissken.
Right. I want to see like the Logan version of Snake Plissken. Like his last hurrah.
You know what you call it? You call it Escape from Earth. Because that's the only other place you can go.
Boom. There you go. But like, here's the thing: the audacity of some people to remake Carpenter. Like even the last Halloween movies, they knew better than to try to remake Carpenter. Like they
straight up said we're doing sequels.
Right, exactly. Like
because Rob Zombie did it, and he was not. I don't hate it, but he was definitely not successful.
And like I actually, there are parts of the Rob Zombie's Halloween, at least the first one, that I really, really fuck with. And I will always say this: Rob Zombie has great ideas, horrible execution.
His Halloween 2 is much better than Halloween Ends.
I mean, that's not hard. That's
you know what I mean?
That's not really hard.
I'll be real with you. It's not better than Halloween Kills, but it's better than Halloween Ends. I'll say that much.
Right. But like, I don't need a reboot of fucking Escape from New York. Because the one thing about Escape from New York is it is of its time. Right? It is the 80s, right? And it's, it's funny now, right, watching it, but not hilarious. But it was probably funny back then, too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's weird and it's wild, and it's like a whole bunch of swagger, right? You're not going, like, these guys, like, you can't do that now.
Look, like we just talked about, Bullet is iconic. Steve McQueen owns that role. However, there's some very, very extremely talented people behind it, including a living legend, shepherding the whole thing. This, I'm just like, if you guys wanted to get me excited about a remake of Escape to New York, then you need another living legend. You know what I mean? Like if you said like Nolan or Denis or Ridley Scott or somebody like that was going to do it, I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, I would love to. Could you imagine Nolan or Denis doing Escape from New York? Like it'd be crazy. It would be like such a huge budget, and it'd be like they would, they would build these massive sets and just lose their fucking mind and make it like a playground.
They would just remake New York. They would just they would buy an island and just build New York.
Oh yeah, it would be expensive, but it'd be worth it.
Right.
I mean, would it be as good as the original? Probably not, but it would definitely be worth it. This, I'm just like, here's my question. Like Bullet, I get, because Bullet is not a remake. It's just a different story, right? With the same character. So basically, not exactly a sequel, but a continuation. This is a straight remake. What are we going to get out of this?
Nothing.
Like, what is there to get out of this?
Nothing. But you know what? Like, God bless those guys for getting it. I hope it's good. Like, I really, really hope it's good. But nothing I've seen from them says that they have the sensibility to do this movie. You know, give it to Jordan Peele. You know what? Because Jordan Peele loves Carpenter, and he gets Carpenter, right? So, like, if you're gonna give it to anybody, give it to fucking Jordan Peele.
I mean, and I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but Peele this year made a better Spielberg movie than Spielberg.
Right, that was an Amblin classic right there. You know, Nope was like old school.
It was a Spielberg movie for adults. It was like one where like, let's have some fun, let's make a movie for adults while also commenting on our modern day shit show and how everything's because of social media, everything's a spectacle.
Right. And like, God bless JJ for trying to do his own Amblin movie, trying to do his own Spielberg movie with Super 8, but it just didn't hit the same way Nope did. Yeah. You know,
I'm gonna be. His Star Trek was more Spielberg than Super 8.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But yeah, look, I can say at least we're not getting Scream 7, because if they're doing this next, then I guess Scream 7's off the table for now. And look, Jenny Ortega, fantastic actress. But she needs to stop doing horror movies. Like, she needs to tell her agent, like, yo, I need to do a drama or a comedy or fucking something.
Right.
Because Wednesday's dropping soon. I'm like, yo, I love the Addams Family, but that's comedy horror. So, like, I like, she's been typecast.
Yeah, I mean, she's building her, like, her foundation, you know, like let her get some success under her, let her get some money and shit like that, get some clout, and maybe she'll do some interesting stuff. Maybe she'll do some stuff that'll actually like put her in the right lane.
Yeah. All right. So Jeff, what have you watched lately?
What are you watching?
All right. So I took it actually easy this week because we did so many screenings. So let me start with a movie that I was going to talk to you guys about a couple of weeks ago. I just didn't get a chance to. On Netflix, there's this movie called The Stranger. And it's an Australian crime movie. And if you know me, I fucking love Australian crime like movies, right? Like fucking Animal Kingdom, fucking Mr. Nobody, Son of a Gun. Like you put.
Have you seen the Snowtown?
I like that's on my list. You were talking about that. That's next on my list.
Have a barf bag ready.
All right. I'm ready.
It's gross. It is fucking gross.
I'm ready. So The Stranger stars Joel Edgerton and Sean Harris, and You Had Me at Joel Edgerton. And it's pretty much the story of a setup. So it starts off with a drifter being recruited into a criminal organization, right? And we find out that the whole entire preface for this is the criminal organization doesn't actually exist. It's the cops setting this dude up to get his trust so that he can give the information on a crime he committed, a heinous crime he committed years before and he got away with. Right? It's very ethereal. It's beautifully shot. The sound design is great. It's very jarring. It's barely coherent though. You know, it feels like a fever dream. The use of sound is really, really interesting here because like some of the dialogue is based off of like tape recordings of the cops recording the conversation. Like it's real weird and real interesting how they did the sound design on this. Like I said, it's beautifully shot, it's beautifully acted, but it is really more style over substance. All right, it looks cool, it feels cool. The story is interesting enough, but it's really the acting that draws you in. You know, I wouldn't say this is a great movie, but if you like crime movies, if you like undercover cop movies and shit like that, give this a try. It's interesting enough, right? And it's on Netflix. It's fucking free. Go for it. You know,
free for some people.
I mean, at this point, either you have a Netflix subscription or you know someone with a Netflix subscription. But yeah. Moving on from that, we'll go to I rewatched 3:10 to Yuma, the remake.
Have you seen the original?
I saw the original like years and years ago.
I'll let you continue, but like both are fantastic in different ways.
Right. I had forgotten how good 3:10 to Yuma was, the remake. You know?
James Mangold, like he makes good movies.
Fucking like it was like from top to bottom from the rooter to the tutor, it was fucking tight. It's well acted, the action is great, and like you really feel like the emotion right there. The kinship, right? Like that last scene when they're going through the fucking town. I'm
and they're
like,
smiling at each other.
Like it's goddamn, is that not earned? That is earned. That whole entire fucking shootout at the end is fucking earned, and the end is kind of it's heartbreaking.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think I saw it on HBO Max. I can't remember, so many fucking services, but if you so many fucking services.
Nigga, I'm losing track too.
Yeah, but I love a good Western, right? I love a bad Western. Yeah, 3:10 to Yuma. If you haven't seen it, I think it's one of Russell Crowe's last great movies. You know,
before he gained all the weight.
Before he gained the weight and he stopped. He leaned in to whatever he leaned into.
I mean, the last good performance he gave was in Man with the Iron Fist. That is a great bad movie.
Yeah, I mean that was campy as fuck. So you know.
Yeah. Have you seen part 2? Because I watched part 2 on Netflix. Like I went straight to Netflix.
I might have caught the first 15 minutes and I was like, I'll get back to this eventually.
I was just like, I never thought I'd say this in a million years, but I was like, damn, we needed RZA behind the camera again, you know?
Right?
And he needed full control of the script. Like, I was just like, this is what happens when you pry the sequel, a direct-to-video sequel, away from the dude who fucking created everything.
Who directed the sequel?
The dude who did the first 2 episodes of The Inhumans.
All you had to say. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah,
written by some unknown dude. I don't even know why RZA agreed to it. I was like, RZA, dude, why? You should have put your dick down with Universal and been like, nah, fuck that. If I'm not gonna do it, then this ain't no franchise.
Because RZA's always onto some new shit, and he's always like, if it doesn't interest him, like he'll keep it moving. So I think he did what he wanted to do with the first one, and like kept it moving. Bobby Digital's got to keep it moving.
I mean, he's in the second one, and he does the score for the second one. Like, he's the main character again.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't see. This is how much I remember. Like, I didn't know if it was one of those direct to video sequels where they just like replace everybody.
Nah. RZA came back as the star and composed it, and I was just like, bro, why? At a certain point, if you don't have full control, like, why fucking do it?
I don't know. Maybe we can get him on the show and ask him. So speaking of westerns and direct to video sequels, I watched, air quotes, R.I.P.D. 2.
No, why?
Because nigga, the first one was so fucking bad.
Yes.
I wanted to see, like, there's no way they can make the second one, like this direct-to-video sequel, as bad as the first one. And they did. It's bad in a different way, right? Because the first one had money, right? The first one had money and star power and, like, fucking, say what you will about it, at least you had you had fucking Kevin Bacon. You had fucking
relaxed body.
you had fucking Deadpool in it. You had Rooster Cogburn in it. At least you had all these. Shit. At least you could.
That's what Jeff Bridges has been doing for like the past fucking 30 years. He's either playing Rooster Cogburn or the dude.
Right.
Or a combination of both.
So at least it got by on its charm, right? Like it was trying to be MIB, but like without the talent. R.I.P.D. 2 though, it's a prequel.
I love how direct-to-video movies are always like a prequel, but it always has two. I'm like, it's not a part two, my nigga.
Right. I mean, this is something where you could say R.I.P.D. Origins. I'll accept that. So it's Jeffrey. It's Jeffrey Donovan taking over for Jeff Bridges.
Shit.
I guess it's a stipulation in the contract that you gotta have.
This nigga did not need to do this. He's on Law and Order right now.
I fuck with Jeffrey Donovan. Did you ever see Villains?
No, but like he's dope on Burn Notice. He was dope in Sicario. I'm telling you, man, he's dope on Law and Order. There's no need for him to do this shit.
Money, man, like money. Dog, I don't know what that Law and Order money is like. So, but Jeffrey Donovan, like, if he's in something, it's like, yeah, all right, I'll give it a chance. So it's Jeffrey Donovan playing Jeff Bridges. It's a prequel. Watch it. Everybody out there, watch it. Come back to me, and we will have a full-on discussion because I could do 3 hours on how fucking bad this thing is. Oh my God. Even by direct to video standards, this is like, were you about to lose the rights? Is that why? Like, was someone about to lose the rights to this? Because that's the only reason to do this.
Two things. I will watch this, Jeff, if you do a double feature of Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive back to back.
Fucking, I'll do it.
All right.
I'll do it.
So I'll watch it then. If you do that,
at least that shit's gonna be interesting. This shit was just
And two,
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I can't even remember what fucking happened. Like, I sat there and I watched it. I can't remember. Like, all right, this nigga got shot in the back, and then like there's some toxic. Like, they're trying to unleash hell, and fucking, he's got a Viking sidekick, a bitch who's like 800 years old, and that's
You know what? And my second thing is, look, I got a million franchises I want to do. So if I set up my franchise at Universal and it flops, at least I know I could be like, yo, can we put the sequels direct to video and direct to streaming? They'll probably be like, yeah, sure. You know, I don't give a fuck as long as I get to tell my story, nigga.
all right. Like I guess it's life after death. So R.I.P.D. 2, it's on Netflix. It's a thing. It exists. So, take that as you will.
Yo, shout out to Netflix, bro. I don't know how y'all still in business.
They don't know how they're still in business. Did you get that
tweet I sent you?
Which one? The one from the Glass Onion one?
Yeah, I was just like, yo, these niggas suck at business, bro. That's business 101.
So, like, I guess it's not a show unless we fucking shit on Netflix at least once an episode. So Brandon sent me this tweet of the seats that were sold for a showing of Glass Onion, right? Sold the fuck out, right? That theater was packed from the top to bottom. Every seat was pre-sold for this fucking movie, right? And yet, like this franchise that you paid for, was it $450?
$468 million, not including the budget, not including the $100 million they paid to Daniel Craig. That was just for the fucking rights.
So they paid. Let's just call it $500 million. Let's call it what it is.
Let's say 500 because that's another that's 569 including Daniel Craig's pay. We don't know how much everybody else got paid because it's a stacked cast. The budget was $35 million, and then we don't know how much Ryan got paid. And then they still got to pay Lionsgate because Lionsgate still has a hand in it.
And you still have advertising and stuff like marketing.
And at this point, you're looking north of, because they've had splashy premieres for the past 3 months all around the world. So you're looking at, like, at this point, like, close to 6, 7.
Right.
And they still have the third movie to make.
So they've already spent this much money on a movie that they're only putting in theaters for, what, like a week?
A week. And like I've said on the show, everywhere I've been looking, it's been, like, I got my tickets. Because I'm going to see it twice. Because I got the screening, and then I'm going to go see it again with my brother over Thanksgiving at the Alamo Drafthouse. But even AMC and Regal, like, this shit is sold out for almost the entire week. Like, there's still some good seats left. But, like, yo, people have been saying, like, go see this in a theater because it plays with an audience. And every screening that they've had for this movie has just blown the roof off. And people have said it's better than Knives Out.
See, Netflix, what are you doing, man?
Bro, they you know how Tarantino runs the New Beverly?
Yeah.
He got a 35 millimeter print to show next month before it gets released to Netflix.
Oh, shit. Like, speaking of Tarantino, Netflix reminds me of my favorite line from Jackie Brown, right? It's when Samuel Jackson is in the car with Robert De Niro and he just looks at him and is like, what happened to you, man? Your ass used to be beautiful. And I want to say that to Netflix.
Here's my question. Why do the other executives in the board, the shareholders, why do they keep Ted Sarandos on as CEO running the shit? Because this nigga straight up said, oh, we don't need movie theaters. Movie theaters are irrelevant. And everybody's looking at Netflix was like, yo, nigga, shut the fuck up. And I was just like, yeah. Because if it was me, bro, and this was my movie, personally, I would give this a month run, like starting Thanksgiving,
right,
all the way through New Year's. I play it. And then in February, March, throw that shit on Netflix. Because if you play it for that long, I mean, yo, you're going to get awards love anyway, because you already have it in theaters for a week. So you might as well just give it a month run and make as much fucking money as possible. Because think about it. Knives Out came out at Thanksgiving. That was also sold out for almost an entire month just because
that was word of mouth.
Yeah, and that was a movie where if you want to take your kids, there's nothing objectable in there. You want to take your grandparents, nothing objectable in there. Like that played to every demographic. You know what I'm saying?
I think they call that a 4 quadrant.
Yeah, y'all fucked up. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all paid all this money for this property, and just like the Joker, whoosh, like it's literally like I'm pretty sure that was the money like Joker had, like the amount of money that they spent on this shit.
It's like my money's on the bottom. Oh shit! All right, moving on.
The first one make like 300 or 400 worldwide.
It made dumb money. It made dumb. It like seriously, it made dumb money for a movie that like it had stars in it. Like, don't get me wrong,
but it was a murder mystery.
But it was a murder mystery. Like it wasn't an established IP, right?
He was coming off of a divisive movie. Like, that's putting it nicely.
Right. Like so like, and before Star Wars, Ryan, with Looper.
Looper was a hit too.
Yeah, I want a sequel to Looper so badly, like an actual sequel,
because that is
not like a direct-to-video sequel.
That is a sci-fi noir. Like that, I remember watching that. I was like, "Yo, this could be the new fucking Blade Runner," because that was the perfect sci-fi noir.
I was rewatching Looper a couple of months ago, and I've already seen it like a dozen times. But every time you watch it, you see something new in that world that they have built.
Well, they just put it out on 4K, so I gotta pick up my 4K copy.
Yeah, like it's a great movie, but Netflix. All right, moving on.
Can I run the company? Can I goddamn run the company?
Man, you might as well. Fuck it. Shit, like fucking five monkeys at a keyboard. Like the law of averages, they gotta come up with some. They can't fuck up this bad. I'm telling you, man. Like it's got to be some kind of scheme. It's got to like. It's got to be a scheme, man. Like
how many times have I said that per episode? Like Netflix is a Ponzi scheme or it's a pyramid scheme.
Like 2 years from now, like it's gonna be some fucking Kaiser Soze type reveal at the end.
Oh shit!
And it was hypnosis all along. In credits. Moving on. Oh man. Moving on to another Netflix movie. Wild is the Wind. It's a South African movie. It's about these two dirty cops in this racist, like a black cop and a white cop in South Africa, who rob drug dealers and shit like that, and they come across a real crime that they have to solve, and is them navigating racist South Africa. The drug dealers that are after them for robbing them, and also try to hunt down this serial killer. That pitch I gave you right there is much more interesting than the movie that I actually watched. Right? I was just listening to myself give the description of that movie. It's like, yeah, God damn it, I want to watch that movie. But that's not the movie I saw.
Oh, Netflix.
I mean, it's one of their acquisitions. I can't blame Netflix on this. This is one of their acquisitions. It was, but still, I mean, this shit goes from like feeling like a direct, like it feels like a TV movie at some parts with cursing. It feels like a TV movie with cursing. Some of the shots are interesting. The acting. All right. So the main actor, right?
The black describing this shit.
Let me pull this nigga up, right?
Oh shit.
All right. So I'm looking at the movie poster for this shit. on IMDb, that's not the same nigga. Like, these aren't the same cops. Yo, go on IMDb and look at the poster.
I'll do it after the show.
Yo, that's no. Who are these two motherfuckers who are on this poster?
Yo.
Oh, god damn it!
Shout out to Netflix.
Shout out to Netflix, right? So let me just talk about the lead Mothushi Magano. I'm sorry I butchered your name, brother. His haircut throughout this movie was probably the most interesting thing. Because he's got like the black Larry David thing going on, but not like the full shave, right? So it's like he's got the side puffs, just a little bit in the middle. It's like, nigga, just cut it all off.
He got the Stevie Wonder.
He got the Stevie. Yo, he got the pre-Stevie Wonder, though, right? Because there's some tufts there.
Yo, shame on his caretaker, bro. Shave his head.
Right? And this nigga's beard is patchier than mine, and that's patchy as shit. Like, they made this dude look bad. Yeah. So wild is the wind.
Oh shit.
The description I gave is better than the actual movie. It's fucking Netflix. Goddamn. All right, cool.
Shit.
And as far as movies go, I rewatched Dawn of the Dead, and I can honestly say now, it is Zack Snyder's best film.
I mean, was that even a question?
Right? Like, I just wanted to because we saw the Sarah Polley film last week, and I was like, let me watch some shit, that she's been in, because I haven't seen Sarah Polley act in a minute, right? And fucking Dawn of the Dead, it's a fucking hitter, man. Like, it is, fast zombies aside, it is tight. It's only an hour and a half. It is fucking tight.
I mean, his second best movie after that is that animated owl movie.
I never saw the Guardians of Ga'Hoole or something like that.
That shit's hard. That was like some of the best 3D I've ever seen.
All right.
But it works in 2D too. It's like a cool little fucking movie.
All right. I'll check it out. So Dawn of the Dead, it's on Hulu. If you haven't seen it, watch it, because it's one of the best zombie movies, at least best modern zombie films out there. And if you have seen it, go and revisit it, because it's still a fucking hitter, and we're gonna go through TV. I'm gonna move on to TV. The series finale of Atlanta. Did you see it yet?
Oh yeah, nigga. And I love how it wasn't anything like big. It was just another episode. It's just like, we're just gonna give you another episode, and it's just gonna be weird and surreal.
Right. And it ends perfectly. It ends how it needs to end. And I'm glad it ended. I'm glad the final episode was a Darius episode.
Well, they everybody else got their goodbye. You know what I mean? So it made sense, because Darius is the most, he's the weirdest one. So the show's super weird and surreal. So you want to end it on the weirdest and surrealist character in a way possible. But I compare it to The Sopranos, where I love the ambiguity of it, because I read, I want to say, 8 different interpretations of the finale, and I was like, well, none of these are wrong. And that's what I love about it. Exactly. It is what you get out of it.
Right. And like I said, it ended how it needed to end. And it for that show, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I wouldn't want it to end any other way. So now that Atlanta is complete, you have all 4 seasons out there. If you have not watched Atlanta, go and watch Atlanta. It is one of the best black TV shows out there, but it's also one of the best TV shows
Oh yeah,
out there.
Yeah, when Donald was talking mad shit about like only the Sopranos can touch us, I'm like, nigga, I love the show. It's not that good, but it's still fucking one of the best ever.
Right.
Like, especially this final season. This final season was so fucking good. Like, I'm gonna go back and rewatch the whole show because they paid off a lot over the past 3 seasons and this last.
Well, I started rewatching from the jump, and it's like, the way the characters have all grown and shit like that.
Yes.
The arcs, but it still stayed true to itself.
Yes. Yeah.
So Atlanta series finale. Moving on, Andor.
Hold on, let me do that.
All right. I'll let you do Andor. There's a show on fucking Netflix. There's a show on Netflix called Inside Man. The only reason I started watching this was because it was British and because it starred Stanley Tucci. The premise of this is, and David Tennant. The premise of this is that Stanley Tucci is a wife murderer on death row, but he's also the world's foremost brilliant, like, fucking criminal detective or whatever. And so people actually go to him to solve crimes while he's on death row.
That's dope.
It sounds dope, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Where's this on?
It's on Netflix, man.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. It almost plays like a comedy. It really is what a British person thinks America is like.
Right.
Because it takes place in America and in the UK. They keep on like the main song, the theme song, which is like this sort of southern rock thing, right? They play that throughout the entire run of the show, right? So like, okay, you think, all right, it's the title music. All right, cool. That's fine. I can listen to it once an episode, or I can skip past it. No, they play this song constantly throughout every episode, right? It's almost Pavlovian. Like, now I hate this fucking song. Like I said, they play this thing like the tone is weird. The tone shifts, but none of them hit. It's an interesting concept, right? It's just the execution. It feels funky. I felt icky actually watching it because like Stanley Tucci's dude, like his assistant in jail, is also on death row, and he's a fucking serial killer. But they play the serial killer for laughs, right? And it's like, but no, like, how am I supposed to? Yeah. But I kept on watching it. Like, I still have 1 episode left. It's only 4 episodes. I kept on watching it just because I wanted to see where the whole entire thing, how the thing is going to end. I can't tell if I just don't like it or I hate it. So Inside Man, your mileage may vary on it. Like, some people may love it. I just don't like the tone. I don't like the music. I think this concept given to someone else would have been much better, and we would all probably be talking about this show if they got the tone right. And yeah. So, yep, that's it. That's it for me. We'll move on.
Oh, hold on, Jeff. Before we move on, did you watch last Friday's? Because I haven't seen today's episode, but have you watched last Friday's episode of The Peripheral?
I did. It's The Peripheral is constantly, it keeps on being a great show. I think this is actually one of the weakest episodes. It's still a strong episode, but it's not as strong as those first, what are 5 episodes in?
I think today's episode 6.
Yeah, like we're 5 episodes in. So like episode 5, not as strong as the first 4, but it's still great. And like I said, it keeps giving you information throughout. There's no episode there's no like bottle episode. You know, everything feeds into the main narrative, and you keep on discovering more and more and more and more. I think it's like, to me, it's one of the weakest episodes. They introduced this new character. The future has hired a hitman to kill
Miss Moretz.
To kill the what?
Miss Moretz.
Miss Moretz. Yeah, to
Flynn,
kill the
aka
family.
Flynn.
Yeah, to kill Flynn, and this dude's a bad motherfucker, right? Yeah, he's a bad right.
I thought it was a rap for her, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because this dude is like he is a killer, and like he's a straight up like he's a professional,
and he's so professional where he's just like, yo, don't take it personally. Like, I don't even want to do this shit. They ain't give me a choice.
Right. And I like the thing, and like I loved his character. I can't wait to see what happens in today's episode. The thing that put me off on this episode is the fight scene at the end.
Oh no, I love that shit.
I was like on a logic level, like, why would you play? Like, I get what you're doing, but you didn't have to play your hand like that.
Nah, I fuck with it. I fuck with it hard. Just like the show, I fucks with it, nigga.
Right, but like the show, like even like the worst episode of this show is still fucking good.
True.
So the Peripheral, fucking Amazon's killing it with sci-fi. It really is. All right, so that's that. Now I'm done.
All right. So I'm gonna start with TV because, like Jeff, I've been fucking busy between screenings and working. Let's get into only 2 TV shows I'm going to talk about this week because I still haven't watched the new episodes of Bob Burger, and I probably won't get it till later tonight. Law and Order and Law and Order Organized Crime. Organized Crime just keeps barreling down. Motherfuckers getting blown up now. Getting into some child diddling with one of the characters, where one of the characters you find out like, oh, him and all of his brothers in this group home were being diddled, and it ties into the criminal they're trying to take down. I'm just like, oh, fuck. All these storylines are starting to come together, and we're still only 7 episodes into the season. So I guess then this storyline's going to wrap up, and we're going to go to a different storyline. But yeah, man, I like the new characters so far because the new characters on the team are great, and they all seem to have Stabler's back. Man. I can't remember her name. Oh man, blanking out. The woman who played Clark Kent's mom in Man of Steel, and she was married to Russell Crowe's Jor-El.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
I think it's Alzilet Zuzer. I can't remember.
Hold on. Let me pull it up. You go, keep on talking, and I'll look her up.
She's now a guest star on this. She and Stabler have some history from when Stabler was over in Italy, and you can tell Stabler's conflicted because he's still trying to get over his wife, but he has some attraction to this woman, and I can tell things are going to go south because I feel like she's hiding something.
All right, her name is I'm gonna fuck up the thing. Yeah, Eyelid Zorer.
Yeah. Sorry for butchering your name. You're a fantastic actress, and I cannot wait because I'm gonna do this later today too. Is watch Organized Crime, because Organized Crime that's my. If Law and Order the OG gets canceled again, I'd be fucking super pissed. But I'd be even more pissed if Organized Crime gets canceled. So speaking, well, go ahead.
No, I gotta jump back in. I gotta jump back into fucking the Law and Order reverse.
So speaking of, the last week's episode of Law and Order was wild because some woman got strangled to death by a womanizer, and this dude is a serial womanizer who just finds women, takes advantage of them emotionally, and just manipulates them into spending all their money. And so the current woman he's womanizing is this big feminist lawyer. And they're like, yo, we need you to take the stand. She's like, nah. She's like, I've done too much for women's rights for me to be degraded in public like this. And this nigga's sick because you know what he does? He manipulates the judge. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be my own lawyer. And he manipulates the judge into letting him be his own lawyer. And he's smooth talking and slick on the stand. And he's just like, oh, look at these cops. They trying to. And I'm just like, God damn, this dude is a scumbag. And then they finally convinced this feminist lawyer. And it's the woman from Orange is the New Black who Fig was sleeping with. She was the warden before she got fired.
Okay. Yeah.
She finally takes the stand. And this dude pulls out a sex tape. He's just like, how you going to believe her when she's doing this? And it's a sex tape. And I'm just like, bro, you're a fucking scumbag, bro. You're trying to slut shame a woman that you convinced to make a sex tape with in order to get off on a murder. And they had to break that down, too, on the stand. Be like, she even had to tell the jury. She looked directly at the jury. She's like, look, I'm a woman. And as a woman, I do like sex. I am a human being. It's not fair that men get to enjoy sex, but women get to be either slut shamed for liking sex or be called a bitch, a cunt, or raped because we don't want to have sex. And I'm like, yeah, the double standard's fucked up. Like, I'm not going to lie. The double standard's fucked up.
Right.
And so the episode ends. He's found guilty, thank God, because the jury, once the sex tape came out and she said that shit, the jury's just like, yeah, this is gross. And so Nick goes away from murder and the episode ends and the one lawyer, she goes up to the feminist lawyer, just like, yo, you did good today, women's rights. She's like, no, I didn't do good. This is what I want to avoid. Now look at me. And she shoves the paper in her face. And on the paper, the headline of the New York Post, it says, feminist lawyer, tie me up, with a screenshot from the sex tape. And I'm just like, God damn.
It's hard out here for you ladies.
I was just like,
I'm sorry.
Law and Order, every ending this season so far has just been like, oh, you thought they won? We got something for you. And you just get that uppercut right to the fucking gut. And you're just leaning over, trying to catch your breath as a nigga walks away laughing that he punched you in the gut.
So the whole, like, it seems like every episode of Law and Order is but I can't swim.
Yeah, it's a win.
You know? Yeah.
It's a win, but then it's the what? You thought it was going to be a happy ending, nigga?
I'm going to use that in my life from now on, but I can't swim.
Yeah, because it's. All right, so I'm going to get into the only other thing I watched this week, which was Andor. And this week's episode is more political maneuvering on everybody's part. It's just the walls are very much closing in on everybody. And I get it because now we got one more episode before the final season, which I'm guessing will air this time next year. So
they're only doing 2 seasons?
Which is smart.
Yeah, good. Like, I don't look. Tell the story you got to tell. Tell the story you got to tell.
This is this show. I'm gonna be real. This show is not easy to watch, which is wild for me saying this because it's a Star Wars show, and this one is the most Star Warsy of them all, and it's still like, ooh boy,
right? Like, well, I think this is the first time we've actually seen creatures.
And TIE fighters. Well, TIE fighters in battle, I should say, like the normal Star Wars shit.
But fucking Stellan Skarsgård, like, he keeps on proving in this show that he's the baddest motherfucker in the universe.
Yo, he reminds me of the nigga on Law and Order where he's a scumbag, but you just like, God damn, though, I'm on your side. I wasn't on he's got Law and Order's dude's side, but him, I'm just like, if I could, I would kill you.
Here's the thing about Andor, right? It puts the war in Star Wars,
just like Rogue One did.
Like, right? It's like these are the shit. This is the shit that happens in a war, right? Like that whole entire interaction that he had with Saul, right? It's like, look, nigga, what do you want to do? Like, we can win big or we can win little.
Yo, and Saul was ready to fucking murk him. I was like, yeah, nigga, like, I get it. When Saul was like, yo, are you out of your mind? Like, you want to die right now? And I'm like, yo, man, kill him. Like, fucking kill him.
Right. No, I'm like, look, I'm trying to win a war. And, you know, fucking soldiers die in a war. And sometimes you got to sacrifice. Look, it's chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that's this whole entire show. We've been watching checkers, right? For all of Star Wars, right? This is chess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got nothing else to say because I need to rewatch the episode first and foremost. But I'm very interested because this was a light episode. Because, again, it's all political maneuvering. Excuse me.
Right.
Next week, I feel, is going to be the big episode since it's the finale.
And I think we're finally going to get the payoff on the fucking Dudley Do-Right.
Yeah, this nigga, man. I'm just like, bro, like, honestly, if I was that chick and he pops up, because you know he's going to pop up again. If I was that chick, and you know which chick I'm talking about, like the evil Aryan blonde chick.
Yeah, the fucking, you know, the head of the fucking SS.
Yeah. Honestly, I would just kill him on the spot. I'd be like, yo, we told you so many times. We gave you a promotion. We made you look good.
Right.
And you still can't leave this shit alone. It's time for you to go. It's time for you to go. Like,
right.
And you know nobody's going to miss him.
Right. No, like he's a cog in the machine. But because they've been concentrating on this motherfucker every episode. So there's got to be a payoff. There's got to be a payoff, and it's going to be fucking big. Like, actually, I am more fascinated with his character. Every episode's like, what's going to fucking happen? What are you going to do?
I'll be real. If it was me and I was that character and I fucked up the way he did, and it's a spectacular fuck up. And not only that, but I get promoted. Like, I get promoted through the Empire's ranks. Like, I fuck up a whole galaxy now where the Empire's like, yo, we hired y'all. We trusted y'all. Now we got to do this shit ourselves. And so you get promoted up in their ranks just to keep me quiet. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fall the fuck back. I'm going to fall the fuck back and just be like, yo, I'm going to let it be.
Stay fucking quiet.
At a certain point, like, as much as I may hate Andor, I'd be like, well, that nigga did have a gun to my head and let me live.
Right. Right. It was like...
He did, like... He could have killed me because he killed almost my entire squadron and he let me live. Okay.
Right. And honestly, like, just by logic, you can see that if he let me live, then those two dudes he murdered in the beginning of this, like, that's kicked this whole entire off, is like, maybe, well, everyone was telling me that they're fucking assholes. Yeah,
they
like,
straight up were in a brothel. They weren't supposed to be there.
Right, they were on the job in a brothel, and they tried to shake him down. And the dude's boss told him as much. It's like, yeah, they weren't even supposed to be there, and they're like, they were probably up to some shady shit. So why don't we just call it a wash?
And the only reason why they started getting pissed was because the prostitutes were going to Andor before them, and they were like, we were here longer. And I'm like, nigga, he's just there for some information. Like, he even said, he's like, yo, I'm not even here to fuck anybody. I'm just here for some information, and then I'll be on my merry way. And they couldn't even leave that shit alone.
But like, some smooth shit would have been like if they were like, we've been here longer, and then Andor looks at him with a martini in his hand and is like, yeah, but my money's longer.
I mean,
that's some cold-blooded
shit. Then I would be like, yeah, then definitely try to jump him because that's some fucked up shit. But like, yo, he straight up's like, yo, I'm here for some other shit. I'm gonna get my shit and I'm gonna go, and y'all could fuck whoever you want. And they just couldn't leave it alone.
Yeah, it's just fucking.
And then the one dude before he killed him, he's back. He's like, I won't tell anybody. I'm sorry. You won't have to see me. I'm like, no. You had chances, bro. You had two chances. You had two chances. You had the first chance was when he walked out, left it, and then the second chance after he killed you, after he fucked both of you up, and then to the point where he had to kill your buddy, I mean,
right,
nigga.
right, I know pleading for your life and everything like that, but if you're in that situation, you're gonna die. Like there's no way. Like, oh, won't tell any. Like, I won't tell anybody ever worked?
Well,
ever?
It worked for a movie that we are currently embargoed on.
Okay. All right. So we don't even know when the embargo's up.
Early
right?
December.
All right. All right.
So that's Andor. I'm gonna move on to movies, and the only three movies I'm gonna talk about is Slice. A24 put a lot of their movies on HBO Max, and this was one I always wanted to see. I was like, oh, Slice, this fell between the cracks.
I saw Slice like 2 years ago. I think it was on Amazon for a while.
Yeah, this movie's a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's trying to be like a satire, and it comes across as a juvenile Adult Swim like sketch. Like, you know how Adult Swim, their episodes are like 15 minutes, and that's why it's funny, because it's short and the writers understand, like, short and sweet. That's it.
We can only milk this concept for 15 minutes.
Yes, because I'm rewatching Black Dynamite right now, and that shit is hilarious. And I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the animated show that went on Adult Swim. Those episodes are only 10 minutes for a reason. Fucking this shit is 1 hour and 40 minutes, and I'm just like, bro, this shit ran out of steam in the first 5. And it just keeps going, and it has so many famous people. And I'm just like, why did y'all sign up to do this nigga's directorial debut? Because this is from a writer-director. It's his first movie, and I'm just like, this shit, dog?
It was probably one of those examples of, like, this is my friend. And also, he swims, like, he's one of those, like, he's probably swimming in their circle, right? And he's been hyped up so much by all these people. It's like, oh, I gotta do his movie.
And they made Chance the Rapper to be the star of this shit. Because I remember watching the trailer and just laughing and being like, oh, can't wait to see this. And then I watched the movie. I'm like, yo, Chance is in it for like 45 minutes, maybe?
Yeah. Honestly, I knew I didn't like the movie, but I can't even tell you what it's about. Isn't there werewolves in that shit too?
Witches, vampires, like all types of shit. And I'm just, it has so many storylines. And it all comes together like so haphazardly. And by the time you're just like, who gives a shit, bro? Like none of it is clever. None of it is funny. None of it is interesting. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Death Becomes Her. Pretty good. Like, yo, listen, it's basically a movie.
The original? Because I know they were doing
what?
The original, or did they do a remake?
There's only one to me, the Robert Zemeckis.
I think I heard they were doing a TV show or some shit like that. But go on, I'm sorry.
Death Becomes Her. The themes of the I mean, it's a nice streaming movie. Well shot, well made. This is when Zemeckis was still, in his bag.
Right.
And it's much better than probably the last decade of movies he's fucking churned out. A lot of the themes today are still relevant about beauty, about pitting women against each other, all that shit. But yeah, man, I mean, cutting edge, at the time, the CG was cutting edge, and it has dated. But I'll say this: a lot of it is better than Marvel.
Yeah, I haven't seen
this shit. Came out in '92, so
I don't think
what does that say?
I don't think I've seen Death Becomes Her since '92. All I do remember is like it had a real Witches of Eastwick feel, and I love the Witches of Eastwick.
And honestly, that movie's better.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Moving on to my last thing, real quick, I want to talk because I'm allowed to talk about it. I can't give a review till our next episode because it's still under embargo, but I will say, Thanksgiving, because we're going to drop our next episode the day before Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, take your family to see Strange World. And that's all I can say.
All right.
I wish more movies were weird like this and surreal.
I wish I had seen it, but once again, Disney likes to fuck with us. So,
moving on, our last thing on Disney Plus, Lucasfilm and Studio Ghibli teamed up for a short film. And it was a cool little avant-garde short film starring Grogu and the Dust Bunnies from Spirited Away called Zen. You know, it's a cute little short of just Grogu. He was meditating, floating in the air, and then the Dust Bunnies come and start messing with him. And, you know, they start playing around. It's only like 6 minutes.
Okay, that's cute.
Also scored by Ludwig Göransson. I know Miyazaki came out of retirement to do his first CG movie because he's just straight up too old to draw anymore.
Right.
I hope that shit comes soon, man, because Miyazaki's like, he's knocking on death's door. He's like a living legend. I'm just like, man, I hope that shit gets finished before he dies.
I didn't even know he was doing a CG movie, so.
Yeah, he's been working on it for like the past 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, yo, listen, I'll take anything from Studio Ghibli, even if it's Miyazaki or not, just because he established that whole animation style and the whimsy. He mixes whimsy and profound at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it speaks on Japanese society and just the world in general,
right, and the human experience,
and all of his
and the human experience in general. You know.
His movies always break your heart at the end. You're just like, oh, that sucks. Except for Spirited Away. Spirited Away actually has a happy ending.
I can't remember the last time I watched Spirited Away. It's been a while. Maybe that's what I'll do.
The movie's long though. It's 2.5.
I mean, that seems like the norm now. Like you can't watch a movie now without it hitting fucking at least 2 hours 15 minutes.
Oh goddamn! Yeah, look. Well, yeah. So let's move on to trailer talk.
Roll camera and action.
It's time for some trailer talk.
All right.
Let's do Magic Mike's Last Dance. I like the second movie a lot. Everybody loves the second movie a lot. Magic Mike XXL. This one looks to go back to what the first one was, and I'm just like, yo, we don't want that shit. We want what the second one was, which was fun. A bunch of dudes having fun and fucking seducing women with stripping because they're male strippers.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I've got no frame of reference because I think I'm the only person who hasn't seen any of the Magic Mike movies, right? So I'm watching this trailer, like, all right, cool. Like, I got no frame of, like, it looks like everything else, you know, like.
When they said that they were going to take inspiration from Magic Mike Live, because that's a stage show, a very popular stage show.
I'm sure it is.
I didn't think they meant literally. I don't know, man. I was just like, bro, y'all doing one more of these, and I was just like, yo, we couldn't. Y'all couldn't have fun again? Like, nobody wants to sit through a stripper drama. We want to sit through like a fun stripper romp, bro. Like,
this is not a night at the Blue Iguana. Yeah, I know. Like, no one's seen that movie, but if you get a chance, check it out, because that movie is
I've seen
yeah.
it.
It's sad strippers.
Yeah, Magic Mike. It's darker than that. The first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Soderbergh, man. I was just like, it was Soderbergh making a Soderbergh movie. It wasn't, because it was advertised as one thing. So I remember going to the press screen and I was like, this is not what it was advertised. And I just remember it was me and my boy, because I took my boy to the screening.
Right.
And there's a bunch of ladies there. And for the first part, they're all going, woo, woo. And me and my boy, honestly, we were like, oh, Olivia Munn, we're seeing her titties? I was like, oh, word. And so halfway through the movie, you could just feel the energy just dropped out of the room because this was clearly not the movie that they advertised and not the movie that these ladies have came to see. So when you hear people talk about the second one, both men and women, when they talk about the second one, they're like, yeah, because for women, you know, it's the stripper movie they want the first time. For dudes, you like it because it's a bunch of dudes doing dude shit where you're just like, yeah, I do that dumb shit with my boys. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like I watched the trailer for this third movie. I'm like, oh, you got, Soderbergh should have, he didn't do the second one. He was the DP on the second one. I'm just like, the dude who directed the second one should have came back for this one.
Right. And
Soderbergh should have fell back again because Soderbergh is back in the director's chair. And I'm like, dog, I love your movies. Nobody wants to see a Soderbergh stripper movie. I'm sorry.
All right. Fair. Yeah, fair. I'm going to have to watch these first two just so I can like appreciate the tonal shift for this third one.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. I'm praying I get a press screening because I do want to see it. I might as well see this off. But yeah,
well, all right.
Let's move on to Elemental, the teaser. Pixar's back in theaters again, and this looks cool. Opposites attract, literally.
I mean, this came out of like nowhere because I didn't read anything about this. I didn't know like this even existed.
I heard about it and I saw the character designs for the two main characters. I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, look, it's Pixar. I'll see the trailer. When the trailer drops, I'll watch it. And the trailer dropped. I was like, oh, okay. So like it's a whole universe of elements.
Right.
Like weather elements and just elements in general. And, fire and water, they're in love with each other. So I'm like, oh, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, look, Pixar, honestly, it does romance better than like live action movies sometimes because you've got Ava and Wall-E, you've got fucking what's the nigga's name from Up? The old man.
Oh,
Carl and his wife and shit like that.
And then he becomes like a father to that little Asian kid, Russell.
Right. So like when it comes to like movies about relationships like that, like Pixar's got it on lock. Like they distill adult themes and adult emotions into what is essentially a children's movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming out in June, so I guess it's a pretty big movie in scope. I mean, because it's a summer movie. My girls, my friend, she saw this. Excuse me, my friend saw this, and she was like, "How are they gonna have? How are they gonna have sex?" And I was like, "That's easy. She's gonna cool her body, the bottom half of her body off so it turns to stone because fire, magma turns to stone, and then the water dude, all you got to do is freeze his dick."
Well, but the friction would melt.
Don't make it work. Don't make it work.
All right. I mean, I'm just now I'm thinking about two fucking elemental cartoon characters trying to fuck. This is not how I wanted my Friday to go, man. That's not how you start a Friday.
I didn't even think about that till she brought it up, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. How can that work? And then I thought about it. I was like, well, she's fire, and magma always cools and turns to rock, so she could just open herself up and cool herself. So now that she's open, the dude could just freeze his dick.
So, like, when they both come, is it like, do they make steam?
Oh, and they have steam kids.
Yeah. All right. Okay. This is not what Pixar wanted. This is not the, I can't wait for the internet fucking cartoon porn fucking community to get a hold of this shit.
I mean, this is what happens when you make shit for adults. Like, Pixar is for adults than it is kids.
I mean, yeah.
Like your kids are gonna love it because it's animated, but like
you're gonna
they ain't gonna get what's really going on.
Right.
Like Turning Red, I showed my goddaughter that, and she was just like, "Oh, I loved it." I was like, "Yeah, you have no idea what this movie really about, bitch. You'll understand in like 5 years, though, when your mom has to sit down and talk to you."
It's about it's about generational trauma and also your moon blood.
Yeah, so you'll find out soon. All right, let's move into our main review.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The Film Blurds feature film review.
All right.
Have you seen Wendell and Wild yet?
I haven't seen Wendell and Wild yet.
All right, so we'll do that next episode.
All right.
So let's start with let's start with She Said.
Okay. She Said. The more and more I sit on this movie, like it needed to be made. Because we need to start talking about Harvey Weinstein and everything that he did, and seeing the investigation and like how this was all brought to light was very interesting. The movie itself it's okay.
I think they needed a better script just because we've had journalistic movies before, right? We've had All the President's Men. That's one of the best movies ever made. Cinematic as fuck. Spotlight. Won Best Picture. I don't think it was the best picture that year, but it is really a fantastic fucking movie.
What was the one Spielberg did?
What?
The Post, right?
The Post? Yeah, All the President's Men was better, bro.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely. But I'm just saying.
So, that movie, it is what it is.
Right.
But a friend of mine, she saw the movie a couple of weeks ago before we did.
Right.
She said the actual book and the actual reporting were more interesting than the movie just because they get into the very minutia of how this went on for so long and how it happened.
Right.
And how Harvey was so protected. Like it gets into the Hollywood system that protected Harvey and allowed this to happen. And that's the problem with this movie is it's just taking down Weinstein when it really needs to take down the whole system. And the thing is, there's a person, I can't remember who it is, but somebody in this movie is like, yeah, there's a whole system protecting him. And the movie never gets into that.
I think it was the Gwyneth Paltrow. Well, not Gwyneth Paltrow isn't
the character,
the voice.
Yeah, right.
The voice, because a lot of the famous people who are in this movie are just their voices,
except for Ashley Judd. She's actually playing herself.
Right, she's actually playing herself, and I thought the whole entire that end with Ashley Judd when she finally decides to speak up and everything like that seemed a little too TV movie for me.
A lot of this did, though. Like, it's well shot, it's well acted, but I was just like, this is something that could have came on HBO and we all could have been, cool with seeing it on HBO.
This would have been on, like, if this was a Lifetime original, it'd be like the best Lifetime original ever.
And like, I love Zoe Kazan. She's a great actress. Obviously, Carey Mulligan's one of our best actresses ever. And honestly, if it wasn't for them two, Andre Braugher, Patricia Clarkson, and the DP, because the DP really does some amazing work in this movie. I don't know if this would be
getting as much recognition as it is.
Because as it is, people like it, but not enough to be like, yeah, awards, even go see it in a theater. Go see, like, everybody's like, yeah, it's good, and that's it. And that's how I feel. I'm like
when this hits streaming, like, it'll do great on streaming, but like, I wouldn't go out. Like, I don't need to see this in the theater, and it is 15 to 20 minutes too long.
Oh yeah, it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I was just like, this could have been a good hour 40 minutes. My other problem is, this is coming out at a very bad time just because we had just saw Women Talking, and Women Talking does this
so much better,
and it's more cinematic and it's more urgent
and it's tight. It's tight.
Yeah.
It gets to the point. It gets to the point.
Right. And like I said, fucking Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan are great and are doing great performances, but these performances can't hold a candle to any of the performances in Women Talking.
Right. And like you mentioned Andre Braugher. Andre Braugher is in this movie for literally 5 minutes.
Yeah. You
know?
But so he puts his foot into it though. For every time he comes on screen, that nigga he's on. What I love about it is that he's on their side, but he's like big dick in it. He's just like nope.
Right.
This is what's happening.
It feels like they cut a lot of him out.
Same with Patricia Clarkson because she's just there on the margins too.
Yeah, it feels like there was a bigger movie that they whittled down to this 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Because we really needed to see the system protecting Harvey and why he was being protected.
But they weren't going to, like the movie wasn't going to do that. They were going to play it safe just because you saying that Harvey is a bad guy is a safe bet, right?
Right.
But indicting the Hollywood machine, that's dangerous.
See, this should have been a miniseries, like a 2-part miniseries on some streamer, right?
Yeah.
It does make me want to read the book because everybody's like, yo, the book is just so much, and the actual article is just so much better than the actual movie.
Right.
And the Q&A, honestly, I was just like, I didn't get anything out of it either.
No, because like the director, she monopolized everything. Like she really, and I don't know what's about these European directors. They love to fucking talk.
Yeah. Like Zoe Kazan and Carey Mulligan were just there.
Right. So that's
honestly after I kind of zoned out too.
Yeah, it's because she kept on droning. Like throughout the give the actresses who actually embody this.
But if you're gonna drone on, talk about something substantial. She didn't say anything substantial either, and that's the problem.
Right. Yeah.
So that's she said.
She said.
Let's move on to Devotion.
So I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's good, nothing you haven't. What? It's good, not great. Good, not great. It's nothing you haven't seen before, honestly. Like
I feel like this is how I feel about The Fableman. So I was like, oh, this is really good. It's well made, well acted, well directed. It's just not great.
Right. It's not a bad movie, and I do think you should see this in theaters because the sound is fucking amazing.
I don't know where Jeff saw it at, but I saw it at Dolby headquarters in Dolby Atmos. And before the movie started, they were like, "You are now watching this in Dolby Atmos," and did a whole fucking little thing. I was like, "Oh, that's ill." And the movie, it's loud as fuck in Dolby Atmos. This was the first movie I've seen in Dolby Atmos in a long time where I was just like, okay, this is awesome.
Right. I saw it at a Regal at the RPX in Union Square, and let me tell you, that theater is fucking amazing. And it wasn't Dolby Atmos. It was like Regal's version of Dolby Atmos, but it's still like when when the engine started in the beginning of the movie, nigga. Like my shit was vibrating.
Yeah,
like the floor was vibrating. It was like, oh, okay.
Well, I'm glad you got a good experience. You said you had a Q&A?
Yeah. So Glenn Powell was there. Jonathan Majors was there. And the director, J.D.
Dillard.
J.D. Dillard. And I still have to see Slight. I got to see his first movie.
Slight makes me mad because you could see where that movie could have been like an all-time banger, and it's been on my queue for the longest time. But after seeing this, let me check out Slight. The Q&A was cool. Like Glenn Powell, like we talked about this. Like Glenn Powell
got the book, got the rights to the book, talked to the family of the survivor, and really wanted to make this movie, and only wanted to make it with Jonathan Majors. And he told the story of how like he pitched it to Jonathan Majors, and I did a recording of it. So maybe we'll throw that on our Film Blurs Premium if you want to hear that.
Yo, definitely. Good job on that, Jeff.
Yeah. So I guess we should announce that we're gonna start, doing premium shit for all the diehard fans. So that's gonna launch in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah, Glenn. I read about the development of this, and Glenn Powell he is an executive producer, and this was his passion project because he loved the book. He went to Jonathan Majors and met him in a bathhouse because that's where Jonathan Majors wanted to meet.
Right.
And pretty awkward, but Jonathan Majors was like, I don't see anything. And I was just like, I love this dude. Not only is he a great actor, but he's just as weird as me. He's a weird dude.
This I love John. Like, this is my first time seeing him, and like this nigga came in with a duster and a fedora, like fucking black cowboy. It's like, nigga, I fuck with you. We can be friends.
Look, I will say this. It was something about Glenn Powell's face before, like, where I was just like, I don't know if I like this guy. But watching this movie, I was just like, oh, we need to put this motherfucker in more shit.
Right, because like, here's the thing. In Top Gun, he had like an infinitely punchable face. Right? Like, you just wanted to, like, from frame one, is like, oh, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face. It was that
smile, and he has that smile in this movie, but when he smiled in this movie, I felt warmth.
Like, it's like, okay, yeah. All right, guy. We can be friends.
Yeah. Glenn Powell, we're going to put you in more shit, nigga.
Yeah. Like, this is a good movie. I think it should have dropped, actually, on Veterans Day. Yeah,
it should have dropped probably October and not during Thanksgiving, where there's a million movies.
Right. It's long. It's a long movie.
It's a little over 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours, like 2:10. And some of the parts drag, but the parts that drag are still like fun. Like all the the whole entire Elizabeth Taylor shit.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, narratively you didn't need that, but I'm glad it was in there. The
one thing I want to highlight real quick is I'm glad this movie does it, but to me it highlighted how I personally feel as a black man in white spaces, predominantly white spaces. Like, how uncomfortable he was is how uncomfortable I am in white spaces a lot of the time, where like you're the only black person there. You could tell that these white people don't really fuck with black people.
Right. And like, here's another thing that I really do appreciate it, and like, I guess this is like about, culture in general. Jonathan Majors, when he's in these spaces, like when his character's in these spaces, and he's like, look, I don't need to fucking fight. Right. I don't like, because it's going to make it worse for me here if I do something, right?
Yes.
But then, fucking Captain Save-A-Ho, like, the woke warrior comes in, with white guilt, is like, you should not do that. You should stand up for yourself. It's like, it's easy for you to say, stand up for yourself, because you've got no skin in the game.
Right.
Like, you can walk away from this right now, and I appreciate you being an ally, but pick and choose your battles.
Right.
And we get that in culture now, where everyone's up in arms over some shit that brown people should be pissed off about. It's like, look, we got, like, I'm trying to win the war, not the battle.
I mean, the movie, I'm glad the movie shows this, but the movie even shows, like, his whole squad doesn't really start fucking with him until Glenn Powell's like, yo, I love this dude. This dude is like my wingman. Right. He's there for me. And then everybody's just like, oh, okay. All right.
We just, Like,
the only other person who was really fucking with them was their CEO. And their CEO, he was actually looking out for him.
Yeah. I keep on forgetting this nigga's name. He's been
Thomas Sadusky.
Yes, Thomas Sadusky was at the screening too, and that dude,
shit.
yeah, man, like the three bangers were there, and like they all, like everyone who was in this movie loved being in this movie.
Yeah, you could tell really everybody put their all into it. It's just, I wish it was just a bit. Had it been a bit stronger, this probably could have been an awards contender.
Yeah. Like I said, like we said, it's good, but not great.
Yeah.
But like this is one
definitely
of the few.
See it in a theater.
In theater, yes. Definitely
this is
see it
a dad movie. Like, this is a dad movie. You take your dad, your grandpa to see it. They'll probably they'll probably want to be your best friend for like the next 24 hours.
Well, like if you take your dad or your grandfather to this, or even your grandmother, whatever like that, they will be talking about the time you guys went to this movie until they die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those type of, like, you see it with someone you respect.
Right.
And it was older.
All right, let's move on to The Whale. This is basically a play. The blocking in this is immaculate. Brendan Fraser is he got that Best Actor trophy.
He's won it. Yeah. He's got it.
Does he have it, but this whole press tour, ever since this movie premiered, he's been so sincere, and you could see the tears in his eyes just because everything he went through, from the sexual assault to all the injuries he sustained from doing all these action movies and his own stunts. He's just happy to be back.
Right. And like to be considered a real actor, because for the longest time he people considered him a joke. You know,
and he wasn't really taken seriously until The Mummy,
right? Which is weird because he did serious movies before that.
That movie's still a fucking banger. I don't care what anybody says. The Mummy fucking rules. The first one, the first one,
like everything after that is like bullshit. I like this movie. I wanted to love it. It felt a little emotionally manipulative.
I see how you can say that. I definitely see how you can say that. To me, it got me. And I really like this movie. Like, to me, I hope Darren Aronofsky keeps making small films. Like, that's where he works best. Maybe keep him in one location, small. And go ahead. Sorry. I used to be a very heavy person, like super heavy. And I appreciate the movie. It doesn't make fun of the character Charlie. It just presents him how he is.
Right.
And it's honestly pretty fucking sympathetic at that.
Right. So like there was a big hoopla online, people saying that this movie is fat shaming, yada, yada, yada. And to everyone who says that, fuck you.
And the reviews have been unkind too, calling him a fucking tub of lard and so heavy and shit like that. And then Aronofsky got shitted on because Aronofsky said he couldn't hire an actor who actually weighed 600 pounds just because physically it's impossible for somebody to work long hours and be on a film set for that long. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with what he said. That's true. Look, I used to be heavy. It is hard to be.
I can imagine. I can only imagine, Right. And like we were at the Q&A, and fucking Brendan Fraser, he was like, yeah, I talked to what was the coalition for
obesity, and he says it all starts with the father. And I was just like, listening to him say that, I'm like, that's true. That's true. Usually fathers are shitty, and then you get heavier because you have a shitty father. And then once you leave your house, because your house is not a safe space, the world's is just as cruel, sometimes even crueler than your fucking parents. So
yeah, like so
the way people nobody even has to say anything. It's just even the way people look at you.
Right. And so the portrayal is sympathetic, and it is this is once again the fucking internet. People take their own personal grievances and their own fucking feelings, and they amplify it without even seeing the fucking movie, right?
And you should see this in a theater. Like, the sound design's amazing, and for a movie that's an Academy aspect ratio, and it works because the movie's in one place, so it makes you feel claustrophobic.
Right.
Because he's a big person in a small space. Definitely see it in a theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry. Like I was on the
times.
I was on the verge of it. You know what was I think I don't know
Q&A more though.
Oh yeah. Like just seeing Brendan Fraser's emotion, like his genuine fucking he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like he's a fucking good guy.
I hope if I get invited to the awards gala, I hope he wins. Because I want to talk to him. I would like to get a picture with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's
GQ's
like,
final man of the year.
Well, good.
Because, every month or every 2 months, they do a man of the month or a man of the season. And he's the final one for the year.
Right. Good. Well, good for him. But yeah, the Whale is good. I'm going to have to watch it again.
It's not an easy watch. I will say that.
Right. I'm going to have to watch it again. The acting is stellar across the board.
Yo, Hong Chow, everything she's been in, she's killed it. And she's just been on a skyrocket ever since Downsizing, because I hated Downsizing, but I remember she's amazing. And then she was in every single thing, Watchmen, and she's been in a couple of other movies where you're just like, God damn. And even in this movie, I was just like, woo. Sadie Sink too. Like Sadie Sink. I
want Sadie Sink to get out of that angry teenager,
right?
Like fucking thing that they're holding her in.
But that's like how I feel about Jenny Ortega, right? It's just
right.
We don't write good roles for kids, man.
Yeah, I mean, but you Sadie Sink, like she takes angry teenagers to the next level, and it's honest and it's great. It's just I want to see more from her. And
Samantha
forward.
Morton, man, like the whole movie, I thought she was going to be a piece of shit. And then when she shows up, I was just like, you guys made her out to be evil, and she is not. Right. She's just dealing with shit in her own way that it's toxic for other people.
Right. She's just trying to make it like, make it work.
Yeah.
Trying to live.
Yeah. And it breaks my heart watching the movie, because every time somebody walks in and sees Charlie, they're like, "Oh, Charlie, please don't die!" Like literally nobody wants him to die.
Yeah,
and except for him, because he can't get over the loss of his partner.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of levels to this. It is a really, really good movie. I'm going to have to see it again to see if it's a great movie.
Right. Our limitless test is, can I or should I watch this again? She said I'll probably won't watch again. I'll probably watch again.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to watch this again. So that should tell you something about this movie.
So, shout out to Aronofsky. That's The Whale. And let's move into our final thing, which we have revisited, Top Gun Maverick. Still a banger.
Fucking still hits. Still fucking hits.
That picture was clear as fuck. It made me appreciate Claudio Miranda's cinematography a lot. That Q&A was good.
Yeah, the Q&A was good. Everybody involved, like Jerry Bruckheimer, fucking Joe Kosinski, they were Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly. Like, well, I don't know about Jennifer Connelly because they didn't ask her any fucking really questions of substance.
Oh yeah, that's right. The one question she got, I was like, oh boy.
Right. Like, all right, so this is why in the world, of cinema and like Q&As, you need people who can actually dive deeper and ask better questions. Because all right, so the one question,
Eric Davis was the moderator.
Was that?
He's like the chief film critic for Fandango, so it's Eric and Rotten Tomatoes. So it's Eric Davis was the moderator.
Right. So and the one question Jennifer Connelly gets is, so Jennifer, you're a mom. How was it playing a mom?
Yeah, nigga.
And I was like, oh, is that all you got? That's all you have?
She come all the way from Brooklyn to do that because she lives in Brooklyn.
Right. Like, that's all you have for her? Here's a question you should have asked her. How was it playing the female love interest in a movie that, the sequel to a movie that historically, like, that's been talked about as being sort of misogynistic? How was it playing the female love interest and empowering that character and kind of turning around 30 years of, the bathroom rape?
And not for nothing, the character of Penny doesn't inform some of Maverick's choices in the movie, like a big choice. Like, Maverick thinks he's down and out, and she tells him at a certain point in this film, like, yo, listen, you're Maverick. You don't listen to anybody. At the end of the day, you got to be you. That's why Iceman keeps standing up for you, because we need people who are insubordinate, and you got to do what you got to do to save these kids, because these kids are going to die without you. Right.
And so, like, I just wish Q&A moderators would just start asking interesting questions.
Yeah. And it's not hard.
Right. Just like whatever your first instinct, like, if Time Magazine would ask the question, don't ask that question.
Right.
Right. Come up with something new.
I would like to say, Miles Teller, two things that I liked during the Q&A. Well, three things, because I got to talk to Joseph Kaczynski afterwards. First thing, Jerry Bruckheimer pointed out that this movie was #1 during Labor Day and #1 during Memorial Day. That's never happened in the history of movies ever. He said also during Labor Day, it was the #1 movie both in theaters and on streaming. And he's like, people keep relying on streaming now, and this movie proves this shit can coexist, and theaters still matter, and that's where we still make most of our money, because this is still the highest grossing movie of the year.
Yeah. The thing is, you just have to make good movies.
Yeah, because
that's the thing.
What makes me happy about Top Gun Maverick being good, besides me hating the first movie and this being so good, is a miracle in itself. But what makes me happy is that this is the highest grossing movie of the year, both domestically and worldwide. And it's not a fucking Marvel movie, which means we can do practical, big budget blockbusters that have storytelling, that have emotion, that have art to it still, and not rely on basically animated movies with live action people.
Right.
And we'll get into this more next week, because we're going to do a spoiler review next week of Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever.
But that's what I love. The second thing I loved was Miles Teller straight up said, people, no matter how many times you go up, people still yak, and that even Navy pilots who have been doing this for like decades still yak. And he's just like, he talked to physicians, and physicians just say it's the body. It's different for some people.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's a cool little fucking tidbit. But yeah, you go back and listen to our full review of Maverick. But like, it's my third time seeing it, and it still fucking hits.
It's my fourth.
It hits it actually hits the same way. It hits the same way every time. You know.
But Paramount, I want to say, they've been going all out for their screenings this year and have been treating everybody right at these screenings, because like, we'll get into Babylon when we can, when the embargo's up, but for this, right before it started, a publicist came out and she's like, welcome to hi, before the movie starts, I want to ask a question. How many of you have seen this already? And like, half the theater raised their hand. They're like, how many of you have seen it more than once? And there's a few of us that raised our hand. She's like, yeah, according to our analysis and polls and data, people who have seen this movie, 82% have seen it more than once after they've seen it the first time. And she gave this big introduction, and she was just like, I want you guys to sit back, relax, and welcome to Top Gun Maverick. And I'm just like, that's what we need more often. Somebody to come out and prepare you for what you're about to watch. Like, we don't get that anymore. I was like, shout out to Paramount and their whole team, because they seem, besides Universal, right? they seem like the only other studio right now who is putting out interesting work and profiting on it, because they put out Smile, which I'll watch for next episode. They're putting out Babylon. They put out Top Gun Maverick. You know what I mean? Like, they're putting out stuff where I'm just like, I would have never thought for this to be good and great and to get this greenlit at the budget it has. So, yeah.
Yep. Shout out to Paramount. Yeah. You turned it around, baby. You turned it around.
So that is episode 65.
Peace.
We're the Film Blurds. I'm Brandon Norwood, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blurds podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.